Dear child, this message did not reach you by chance. You did not find this accidentally, and you are not imagining the pull that made you stop. There are no mistakes in moments like this. You are here because your heart has been asking questions that never fully left you alone, especially during the quiet hours when everything felt heavy and unanswered. You have been carrying confusion for a long time. You have replayed moments, words, and silences in your mind, trying to understand how someone who felt so close could suddenly feel so far away. One moment there was warmth, connection, and shared energy, and then suddenly there was distance. No explanation, no clarity, just silence. That silence hurt deeply because it felt like abandonment. It felt like being left behind without understanding why. And the hardest part was not knowing whether you mattered anymore. But the truth is not what your fear has been telling you. Their disappearance was not caused by a lack of love. It was not because you were forgotten, replaced, or erased. What happened was far more complicated and far more painful than what you could see from the outside. Right now, your soulmate is dealing with intense pressure in their life. There is emotional weight around them, especially within their family or close circle. The environment they are in is tense. There are expectations, judgments, and fears moving around them, creating a storm they didn't know how to navigate while staying close to you. Instead of bringing you into that chaos, they chose silence, not because it was easy, but because it felt like the only option they had at the time. They stepped back because they cared too deeply. They were torn between what they felt for you and what they were being pulled into around them. Someone close to them interfered, influenced their thinking, and made the situation heavier. Words were spoken that caused doubt and fear. Pressure was applied in ways that made them feel trapped. And when people feel trapped, they sometimes choose distance to avoid causing more damage. From your side, it looked like they walked away without looking back. But from their side, it felt like carrying a burden alone so you wouldn't be hurt by it. They believed stepping back would protect you from being dragged into drama, conflict, or emotional harm. They believed silence would keep you safe, even though it broke their own heart to do it. Their home and their family are not at peace right now. The energy there is heavy because the truth is not being spoken openly. Conversations happen behind closed doors. People feel uneasy. They know the silence is not natural. They know the bond between you and your soulmate did not simply disappear. And that awareness creates panic because they cannot fully control what is real. Your name carries weight in that space, not because you caused problems, but because the connection is undeniable. The people around your soulmate can feel that something powerful exists between you. They see that your soulmate has not truly moved on emotionally. They see the pull that keeps drawing them back to you, even when they try to resist it. That kind of connection scares people who want things to stay predictable and controlled. Someone in their circle hoped that time and distance would weaken the bond. They believed that if your soulmate stayed silent long enough, you would give up, lose hope, or move on. But real connections do not disappear through silence. Love that is genuine does not fade just because communication stops. Destiny does not release what it has joined simply because someone tries to interfere. Your soulmate never truly left you. Even in silence, their energy stayed connected to yours. That is why you still feel them. That is why thoughts of them come suddenly and strongly. That is why dreams, memories, and emotions surface when you least expect them. These are not coincidences. They are signs that the bond is still alive, even if it has been quiet. Their silence is not rejection. It is a pause filled with fear, pressure, and unfinished truth. They are carrying something heavy that they did not know how to explain. They are holding emotions they didn't know how to express without causing more damage. They believed disappearing was better than saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. The panic you sense around their family is not just concern. It is guilt and loss of control. They know the truth is close to coming out. They know the silence cannot last forever. They are afraid that once the truth is spoken, the story they tried to shape will fall apart. And that fear creates restlessness, tension, and emotional pressure. Your soulmate is not lost. They are preparing. They are trying to gather courage, strength, and clarity. They are trying to figure out how to return without falling back into the same pressure that pushed them away in the first place. They want to come back differently, not confused, not easily influenced, not afraid to stand for what they feel. Their heart has never stopped reaching for you. Even now, they are thinking of you. They are watching from a distance. They are waiting for the moment when they can speak freely without fear or interference. And when that moment arrives, the return will not be small or casual. It will carry truth. It will carry explanation. It will carry honesty. The separation you experienced was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal what is real under pressure. False connections break when things get hard. True connections are tested, stretched, and then strengthened. This silence was a test, not a conclusion. You may begin to notice signs soon. A small message, a sudden acknowledgement, a slip of truth from someone else, a moment where something hidden becomes visible. These are the cracks forming in the silence, and through those cracks, the truth will come out. When it does, everything that confused you will finally make sense. You will understand that they didn't disappear because they didn't love you. They disappeared because they were overwhelmed, pressured, and trying to protect you in the only way they knew how at the time. You will see how interference played a role. You will see how fear shaped their choices. And you will see how love never truly left. So breathe. Do not let fear create stories that are not true. Do not let silence convince you that you are unworthy or forgotten. This was never an ending. It was a pause before revelation. It was the quiet before truth speaks. What is meant for you does not disappear. What is real returns. What is written cannot be erased. Your soulmate is not gone. They are finding their way back. They know the disappearance was not random, and they know it was not simple. It wasn't just someone drifting away or choosing silence for no reason. Something deeper was happening beneath the surface, something heavy enough to force distance, something dark enough to make silence feel like the only option. That is why the quiet hurt the way it did. That is why it felt unnatural, unfinished, unresolved, because it was never meant to be the end of the story. Your soulmate did not walk away from you. They did not stop caring. They did not suddenly forget the bond you share. They were pushed into the shadows by pressure, fear, and outside forces that did not want this connection to survive. There were people, circumstances, and hidden agendas that felt threatened by what you and your soulmate represent together. And when something cannot be controlled, fear tries to silence it. That silence became the storm's beginning. Now that storm is no longer quiet. What started as absence is growing louder by the second. You may feel it as restlessness, heaviness, or an unexplainable pull in your chest. You may sense that something is about to change even if nothing has changed yet on the outside. That feeling is not imagination. It is awareness. It is your soul picking up on movement that has already begun behind the scenes. Inside their household, panic has taken root. The atmosphere feels tense, heavy, uneasy. Conversations happen in whispers. Words are chosen carefully. People avoid eye contact and pretend combat doesn't exist. Tears come unexpectedly. Sleep is restless. The house itself feels tired of holding secrets. Even the silence there feels loud, because silence carries weight when truth is being buried. They are not panicking because your soulmate is gone. They are panicking because the truth is getting closer to being exposed. They know something is slipping out of their control. They feel the pressure building. They sense that the lies, excuses, and half-truths they relied on are starting to crack. They are afraid of the moment when your soulmate can no longer stay quiet. When holding everything in hurts more than speaking out, your soulmate's disappearance left a trail, even if you didn't recognize it at first. Sleepless nights, sudden emotional shifts, a feeling that something was interrupted mid-sentence, a sense that words were held back, that explanations were unfinished, that the story stopped before it could properly end. Over time, it becomes clearer that this was not a clean break. It was forced silence, and forced silence always has an expiration date. The more people try to hide the truth, the heavier it becomes. Secrets take energy to maintain. Lies require constant attention. Stories have to be remembered, repeated, protected, and eventually, that weight becomes unbearable. That is when panic shows up. That is when tension fills rooms. That is when the atmosphere starts to crack under pressure. That is what you are sensing now. Destiny does not need permission to move. No matter how much resistance tried to keep you apart, the bond between you and your soulmate has continued to pull them back. It shows up in their thoughts when they are alone. It surfaces in dreams. It returns in moments of quiet. They try to distract themselves, but the connection keeps reminding them of what is real. They may not say it yet, but inside them something is shifting. Something is waking up. Something is growing louder than fear. They are reaching a point where silence is no longer safe for them, where hiding feels heavier than honesty, where pretending costs more than telling the truth. And when someone reaches that point, the story changes quickly. The disappearance was not punishment, it was protection. Sometimes people are removed from situations not because love failed, but because the environment became unstable, controlling, or unsafe. Sometimes distance exists to keep you from being pulled into chaos that was not meant for you. Sometimes the universe allows a pause so that damage does not spread further than it needs to. What felt like abandonment may have been shielding. Now the season is changing. The truth is pressing its way out. The lies are weakening. The control is slipping. The structure that held the silence together is starting to collapse. And when it collapses, everything hidden comes into the light. Your soulmate's return is not far. Not because anyone suddenly changed their mind, but because the pressure that kept them silent is losing power. The fear is no longer enough to hold the truth down. When your soulmate reappears, it will not feel small or casual. It will feel like a turning point, because their return brings answers, clarity, and a real story behind the silence. It will make the confusion make sense. It will explain the distance. It will explain the strange shifts. It will explain why things stopped without closure. And it will confirm what you felt all along. This is why their family is afraid, because they know once your soulmate speaks, everything changes. Once truth is spoken, control ends. Once honesty enters the room, every hidden thing is exposed. They know they cannot stop what is coming. That recognition is what fuels their panic. Their fear is not proof that love is gone. It is proof that truth is approaching. The silence is cracking. The pressure is rising. The story is turning, and what they tried to bury is rising to the surface. Real connections do not disappear without leaving echoes. What is meant for you cannot be erased by fear, distance, or temporary silence. Destiny does not abandon what it has written. Sometimes it simply waits for the right moment to reveal why everything happened the way it did. Stay steady. Stay grounded. Do not let the quiet season convince you that the story is over. Sometimes destiny works most powerfully in silence, moving pieces you cannot see yet. Right now, those pieces are moving. The absence was not the end dot, it was the pause dot, it was the bridge. It was the preparation dot, and soon, the one who disappeared will return with the truth. Not to confuse you again, not to leave you wondering, but to explain, to clarify, and to bring light to what was hidden. When that truth arrives, it will feel like an event, not just a conversation. It will shift how you see the past and how you step into the future. You will understand that the disappearance was never a rejection. It was never proof you were forgotten. It was proof that something powerful was happening beneath the surface. The control is ending. The truth is rising, and the silence is about to break.